Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Flixist Movie Reviews and Review. We got a busy week this week as we're talking about Crawl, The Farewell, and Stuber. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Flixist Movie Reviews and Review. I am Nathan, one of the contributing writers for Flixist.com, and this is the weekly segment where I go through all of the reviews of our staff and let you know what they think about the movies coming out this weekend. This weekend, we got a busy week. We've got 3 movies that are all very, very different from one another. We're going to start with Crawl, the alligator horror film, and this one was reviewed by Matt. Matt begins his review by saying Crawl is the next entry in this micro resurgence, and it ditches the more traditional shark nemesis for killer alligators. That sounds ripe for a tongue-in-cheek film of epic cheesiness, especially when you hear that Sam Raimi produced it and Alexandre directed, 2 of the best camp horror filmmakers ever. Yet Crawl plays it close to the chest, both figuratively and literally, in a movie less about killer alligators and more about high tension and small spaces. I actually have to admit I was really drawn to this trailer. I thought it was kind of a premise that is a bit silly, but just the use of that sort of claustrophobia, that's some scary stuff. And Matt says that it really works. He says that one of the things that stands out most about Crawl is how little it cares about the why of it all. The movie gives absolutely no good reason for why this group of alligators is suddenly attacking every human who comes anywhere near them. He goes on to say that the film simply sets up a scenario and then it executes that scenario, keeping a tightly wound movie taut to the extreme. There's plenty of bodies that pop up here and there, and especially the gators, they love to chomp down on increasingly gory ways. But surprisingly, Matt says, never goes over the top with it. The gator actually feels like it might be violent, but they also feel real, which makes the claustrophobic setting and violence all the more disturbing. He does kind of criticize the CGI a little bit, says that at some moments it's a little dodgy, but he goes on to say, for those of you that are looking for something a bit more layered, as both Raimi and projects can usually be, that's not here. Alligators are just simply eating people, and that's pretty much it. He concludes his review by saying there's nothing incredibly fancy about it and nothing unneeded. In a time of movies going bigger and bigger to pull you in, this is just a murky, bloody, tight bit of small fun at the cinema. It never bites off more than it can chew, but when it chomps hard. And he gives Crawl 6.5 out of 10. The next movie we're going to talk about has nothing to do with crocodiles or alligators or murder or anything. It is The Farewell. I saw this movie at Sundance, and it was probably one of the best movies. It was probably the top 2 movies I saw there with Late Night, which is also out. Hubert reviewed this, and he says that Farewell is a sort of movie that's lingered with me and will continue to linger, in large part because of its humane blend of heartbreak and comedy, and also the way that the director seems to find the right emotional button to put at the end of every single scene. He says The Farewell, even though the entire premise of the movie is based on a lie, is one of the most honest movies of 2019, which is ironic for the film's backstory. He says that the writing is incredible in exploring what's being said and what's being unsaid, and even what's unseen and what you can't see. I completely have to agree with him. This movie is a very simple, small-scale movie that deals with family and really touching matter, as the plot of the film is about Awkwafina, the main actress's grandma, being diagnosed with cancer. So the family must travel to Asia to see their grandmother, but they don't want her to know that she has cancer. So the entire movie is about the secret that they're keeping. So the writing really underlies that, and it deals with something that's really intense, but really, really touching. He says that Awkwafina is outstanding in it, that she basically was known for being a scene stealer, and she takes that and kind of throws it out. So her scene-stealing comic personas from Ocean's 8 and Crazy Rich Asians, she throws to the side. Instead, she displays a really unexpected dramatic death. There's an awkward tension between Awkwafina and her parents in this movie, which is perfect for all of the disappointed children and their parents still trying to hold things together. He really, really loved this. He really claimed that the grandma's performance was outstanding, really said that the direction was outstanding and the writing, and he goes on to give The Farewell 8.5 out of 10. Very, very good review. All right, the next one is mine. I saw Stuber last night. Stuber is the film starring Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista. It is the buddy cop rideshare movie. I was very, very excited for this movie because if you know, I tend to be a very big fan of wrestlers in films. And unfortunately, this movie it came up a little short. I loved Kumail. Kumail is outstanding. He is a really, really talented comedian and also dramatic actor, and he really carries the weight of the film. Bautista is great. He's very enjoyable. He basically is just Drax with just a little bit more emotional levity to him. The action scenes, though, that's where it comes up short. The director, I wasn't a fan of. I felt like he was caught in between giving some odes and trying to emulate the past films of, say, Edgar Wright or Tarantino. And the fight scenes they try to pull off like it's John Wick or The Raid. And really what comes off is just a poor imitation. Nothing really original, nothing I've never seen before. The only thing I haven't seen before is Kumail and Bautista's outstanding chemistry. And that shines so bright in this film and really what makes this worth even giving a chance. It's funny. A good majority of the jokes in this movie I saw in the trailer, which is kind of disappointing, but there are a few surprises in it. The trailer didn't give away too much of the plot. There's a few twists in there that I didn't see coming. So that was good. But yeah, it comes up a little short for a film that's basically built around the entire plot of Kumail trying to get 5 stars. It's kind of funny that the movie isn't anywhere near perfect. But that being said, if you're excited about this and you want to laugh and you want to turn your brain off for a little bit in the summer, go see this movie. It's worth your time to a certain extent. So I'm going to give Stuber about 6 out of 10. Not great, but not terrible. All right, well, this has been Flixist Movie Reviews and Review. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you next time.